Joining me now, Congresswoman Karen Bass, the chair of the Congressional Black Caucus. Welcome. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you.
Joe Biden once described the process he went through when he was being vetted by the Obama team as a rather unpleasant medical exam. I think I'm paraphrasing him. How rigorous has it been for you?
Well, you know, those questions have to go to the campaign. But I do believe that the vice president will pick the person who can best be a partner with him and to help in the healing of this country, because so much needs to be done. I just think about 141,000 Americans that are dead because of the problem you were talking about in the last segment. It's just unacceptable.
And would that best person be a black woman because of all of the other, the reckoning over race, the president praising the Confederate flag again, saying he's going to veto the defense bill because of renaming bases? Isn't it time not just to make the administration look like America, as he indicated in that answer to Joy Reid, meaning a black woman on the Supreme Court, people in his cabinet, but a black running mate, and that would be a black woman?
Well, you know, I do think that with all that the president has done, every time he's in a tight spot, he always goes to race. He always goes to division. And so if you think about what's happening in the country, whether you were talking about policing or now that people are looking at systemic racism, hence him sending the troops out to cities, there's so much division going on. Of course, I would love to see him appoint a woman of color as his running mate. But like he said, he is going to make sure that his administration on every level looks like America. And I think that that is absolutely important and sufficient at this time, wherever those people might be placed.
Are you at all optimistic about the funding battle right now, where Senate Republicans and Democrats are getting together today for the first time on the next money for COVID relief? And they're about $2 trillion apart, so the gap is huge, $1 trillion versus $3 trillion from what the Democrats are wanting. But the Senate Republicans are not on the same page as the White House. Does this make it better or worse for getting a result?
Well, you know, I do think it's difficult. And what I think is so shameful, though, on the Senate side is to let people suffer first. I mean, you know that we passed the HEROES Act more than a month ago. They've had plenty of time to act. And it's like they wait until the car is going over the cliff to pull it back. And I just think that's so unacceptable. I do believe we'll reach resolution. I do believe it will happen. But I think that it's just with all of the anxiety and stress that people are feeling now because of how our lives have so dramatically changed with the virus, to add unnecessary stress, I just think is cruel.
Given what's happening in your home state and your home district in LA County, do you need a stay-at-home order now in LA because of the surge?
Well, it looks like that. And I think that that's especially frustrating because in the state of California, the city and the county, the leadership did everything they were supposed to do. You know, we were one of the first states to do that. So it is very frustrating that we've had the spike again. And I do believe that we might get to the point where we have to shut down. I know they're thinking now that maybe we opened up too soon. That's hard for me to imagine. I mean, you don't go anywhere in Los Angeles without seeing people with masks on, and you can't get in anywhere. You can't go to a store. You know, you basically can't do anything unless you are protecting others and yourself. So I think it just shows how difficult the COVID virus is, how difficult it is. And then you have states, of course. I mean, look at Georgia, where the governor is going to sue the mayor because she's trying to protect the people in her city. It's just craziness. But it's what happens when you don't have leadership.
Speaking of craziness of a different sort, according to Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, after votes yesterday, she was really attacked by a colleague, Representative Ted Yoho of Florida, who called her a terrible name, a really outrageous attack on her, using the F word. He's denying it now to us, but apparently there were some witnesses to it. It was overheard by a reporter. Are women members of Congress being attacked this way from colleagues?
Well, I have never seen or heard of anything like that before, and I'm so disappointed in Representative Yoho. I work with him. We're on the Foreign Affairs Committee together. You know, I'm glad you're raising it because just 15 minutes ago, I spoke to Alexandria and I told her that I had heard about what happened, that I thought it was completely unacceptable and that I think we need to do something about it. After I spoke with her, I spoke to Brenda Lawrence, who is the chair of the Women's Caucus, and I said that we need to come together because as far as I was concerned, it was a verbal assault. Something like that should never happen. I do understand that he's not running for re-election, but he cannot get away with behavior like that. And she told me, again, just a few minutes ago, that wasn't the first time. He's done this now a couple of times. So right after the first blow up, a few hours later, he did it again. And so we just can't have this. And so I know we're going to be putting our heads together and figuring out how we respond, but there will be a response.
And we have not been able to confirm this yet, but there is word that's coming out of the Republican caucus that some of her colleagues, I think Casey Hunt has just confirmed this, I'm now being told, that some of the Republican colleagues went after Liz Cheney for criticizing the president and defending Dr. Fauci.
I don't know what's the matter. These boys talk about craziness, that they seem to be losing it over there. But we're just not going to stand for that. We have a woman speaker. There is a woman that runs this House, and we're just not going to stand for that. So if they are treating their own that way, I guess it shouldn't be shocking, but I do think that we need to do something. I also just finished sending.
Liz Cheney is the third-ranking member of the Republican caucus. I just want to point out she has a leadership role.
Right. I mean, they only have a handful of women over there to begin with. You would think they would treat them like gold.
Karen Bass, it's always a pleasure. Thanks for being with us today.
Thanks for having me on.